this letter with the mayor and council, and along with my response. I'm sorry. And I think I gave too many. Yeah. I made extra, so. Now, the letter that I received, and I received it 2 weeks ago, looked very strange to me in as much as it didn't have any salutation, it didn't have a date on it. It looked like it was a cut and paste, and I just was. So you are verifying that you did write it?
Absolutely.
Okay. And Councilman?
Yes, I had input into that letter too,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So I would like to make part of the record my response, and I will read my letter into the record. Last week I received the attached letter written on borough stationery without the proper salutations and without a date. The letter is not signed, but is purported from Councilman Grinnell and Zamator, which we tonight concluded that they acknowledge that they did write it. The letter asked for information regarding the names, addresses, and proposed developers I have been in contact with during my tenure working for the borough. To divulge the informations that I have contacted or have contacted me regarding development opportunities would jeopardizes the projects that are being considered or on the verge of being finalized, or those that are tied to confidentiality agreements. Confidentiality until a developer is ready to publicly acknowledge their intention is a very standard practice. To make public these names now would jeopardize our efforts. And maybe that is the intention of the question that was posed to me. I don't know. None of these firms are now or ever have been represented by RCM Saverio LLC. To have a firm represented by RCM Saverio LLC and then brought into the economic development mix in North Arlington while I am working on behalf of the borough is a conflict of interest. Is a conflict of interest. It is unfortunate that the tone of this letter suggests that there's something nefarious afoot, and I am sure it is being done for political reasons. I am here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to bring ratables to this community. I want to make it understood that I will not allow myself or my firm to be libeled and slandered for anyone's political agenda. Let me be very clear to the mayor and council that I will use all legal means available to me and the firm to ensure that my honesty and my integrity are not impugned. One might ask the question, why would I not provide the names in closed session? I have seen firsthand how closed session items are discussed hours of your sessions. Things I said or discussed at my first closed session meeting here were in emails the next day. In those series of emails, it was strongly suggested that RCM Saverio LLC would lose this contract even before it started. A prominent property owner on Parade Avenue was told he was going to be removed from his site. This lends itself to the question of whether there is an underlying veiled attempt of tortious interference. I have retained an attorney to review those emails, and I will take appropriate action wherever the liability stands. To answer the second question, my firm has no business relationship with Russo Development, Forest Gate Industry Partners, or any of their subdivisions. In my duties with the Borough of Carlsbad, which I served there as their economic consultant, I met once with Mike Penbrook, Executive Vice President of Russo Development. I worked for Prucci Development, that's true, on the Lyndhurst projects. I am still under contract with Petrucci until all approvals have been received. I have never approached Petrucci Development, nor has that firm approached me regarding any development opportunities in North Arlington. To do so, ladies and gentlemen, is a conflict. I understand conflict, okay? Perhaps regarding Meridia Capadaglia Properties, I had a contract with Mr. Capadaglia and his partner Josh Spiegel on a development project in Rutherford 2 years ago. The application was not successful and I was released by them. I am not under contract with Meridia. Please let me make it very, very clear on one point. And I wanted to have this venue to say this. Should Petrucci or Capadaglia wish to discuss opportunities in North Arlington, I will notify the mayor, the council, the administrator, and the borough attorney in writing, and I will recuse myself from the discussion. I would hope that these levels of ethical standards are met on all levels in the governance of this community. If an individual purchases a piece of property and wishes to develop that property either in concert with the zoning ordinance or through variances from planning or zoning boards, good government dictates that those reviews are based on merit and not on who provides the largest campaign donation. Under the protection of the U.S. Constitution, an individual has a right of economic protection of those property rights regardless of their name or how much they contribute. I have provided to you an RFQ that was prepared by me. The reasoning behind an RFQ is to bring development interest to Pori Avenue. It is a common economic development tool that is used by many municipalities who want to develop a site. It is not to condemn property or to void a property right of an individual. The bottom line is, and I will emphasize this to all of you, I can recommend 1,000 RFQs, I can recommend 1,000 RFPs, but it is up to this governing body of North Arlington to make the decisions on land uses and redevelopment plans, not RCM Severio. In conclusion, it is apparent that the good efforts of RCM Severio LLC to bring ratables to North Arlington are concerning people that would like to subvert and sabotage those efforts. Ethics and transparency should be the goal for all and not just some. It is apparent that creating conflict, turmoil, misrepresentation of the official position is important to some. For example, every month we have heard from someone from Pori Avenue claiming that the municipality is going to condemn property. The refusal of this governing body to use its condemnation authority has been stated each and every time, and yet someone wishes to continue this scare tactic. One needs to ask the question, why? Is it to gain political advantage by creating a false campaign theme? Is it to gain more campaign donations from property owners who feel it's important that they contribute to protect themselves from preventing something bad from happening? The effort to bring ratables to this community is not a Democrat or Republican issue. It is a taxpayer issue. This community has been stagnant over the last several years while all the surrounding communities are seeing new ratables being announced. I am sure that I will see this letter carved up, commented upon on websites and social media without the courage of an individual signing their name to the comment. This is unfortunate, I think. This is the reason why the public is so tired of the name calling and is so desperate for leadership. I'm sorry for taking so much time, but I felt that I had to respond to this, considering I am not going to allow my firm to be used as a political battering ram by anybody.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Severio, members of the council, I believe that part of our responsibilities as council people are oversight of individuals, whether they're employees, whether they're professionals that work for the borough. I did have input into this letter, and my input was to make sure that this letter did not contain any allegations, any unfair allegations against yourself and your firm. Rather, if you look at this letter asks questions about you and the contacts that you have had. Now, I'm very happy, I'm very gratified for you that you have said upon this public record that you are not dealing with firms with regard to North Arlington redevelopment that would put you in a position of conflict. And I'm a man, Mr. Severio, who will take you at your word. I have no reason to doubt anybody who comes up and expresses himself unless I have a reason to do so, and I do not have a reason to do so, number one. Number two, this letter was addressed to you. This letter, I do not believe, was disseminated. It was addressed to you. The questions were addressed to you. Again, it is not only our right, but it's our duty for oversight of people who are working for the borough, who are using taxpayer funds to work for the borough. I think the questions are legitimate, and if they were not legitimate, I would not have put my name to the bottom of this letter, so that's what I have to say.
Point of order, Mayor?
Yes.
I'm just curious why this letter was not distributed to the rest of the council if yourself and Councilman Brunel was acting on behalf of the borough of North Arlington while you sent the letter to Mr. Severio. Now, I know that there's been question about that in the past, where several months ago, there were other members of the council who sent a letter somewhere, and we were scolded. We weren't supposed to do that.
Okay.
Now, I think we made it clear over the past couple of months that that type of behavior is not going to go on anymore. Now I see a letter signed by Councilman Brunel and Councilman Zamator, well, not signed, but addressed to Mr. Severio, who's an employee of the borough, and it's on borough letterhead. I just, I mean, if these things are going to go on, you guys have to let us know what's going on. You can't act, you're not your own council, and,
That's a real good point of order, Mayor.
please answer.
Yes, go ahead.
I think the most important part of the letter, besides you being so upset, and I'm going to read a portion of the letter because I don't want to be here all evening. You also revealed that you crafted an RFQ and it's being reviewed by the borough attorney at your last meeting for consideration by the borough council. In view of this development, please provide us in advance of the July meeting of the borough council a copy of the RFQ, which you did, all those involved in preparation of the RFQ, and a reasoning behind the need for this particular RFQ. The final statement is pretty interesting. It goes to your point, Dan. We believe full disclosure on your part to be essential to an informed decision-making process by the borough council. Again, we are asking for all the foregoing information to be provided to the council members prior to the July meeting of the Mayor and Council 2015. So there was no desire to exclude anybody. This was simply a letter to ask, for example, a very poignant question. Mr. Severio met with the council president, the mayor, and Mr. Pierce, who was a developer. So do you know the name of the developer they met with?
No.
Do you know the name of the developer they met with? But as a member of the governing body who sits here and makes decisions, I'd like to know who the developer is, so I can do my own homework and my own research. So this isn't about Democrat or Republican, it's about transparency. And that's all this letter was. That's all it was inquired to. Now, you might not be happy about the fact that it wasn't signed. I'd be more than happy to sign the next letter for you. But I think the intent of our letter, to get the response from you, was exactly what we wanted. We got an RFQ tonight that we can actually read and actually see. Hold on now. Concerning Port Avenue and the business owners on Port Avenue, I can't speak for them as to what's happened to them in the past in terms of what they've had to deal with about being threatened with eminent domain. I'll let them speak to that issue for themselves, whether they thought their properties were going to be taken in the past or not, or if people have told them that in the past certain things and other things have happened. That's the battle for the property owners on Port Avenue. I don't understand why that's in your response. We didn't ask you for that in our letter. We simply asked you very clearly who you met with and for the RFQ. That's simply what we asked for. And your relationships with anybody, if there might have been a conflict. That's all it was. So I am a little confused.
Why did you wait till tonight to do this then?
Well, I did.
You're writing a letter.
Well, I just sent them a
Some
letter.
of the questions, by the way, why would you wait till tonight to do it?
Well, because at the last meeting, we found out there was an RFQ. Nobody here knew there was an RFQ. The day after the meeting, we sent the letter out asking, okay, if there's an
I have a copy
RFQ,
of it.
we'd like to see it.
I got one too, thank you.
Point of order, Mayor. I certainly was involved, Mr. Severio, with the composition of the letter. That's crystal clear. I was not involved in the dissemination, and I will say for myself, I do regret that the council as a whole were not provided, each and every one, and you, Mr. Mayor, with a copy of the letter. So I think Mr. Conti's point is well taken. And maybe we're even for, I mean, I don't want to be facetious, but I know this happened last October and November, the other way around. I think,
I wasn't here.
you're right. But no, I do regret that, Dan. Every council member should have had a copy of that letter.
We should have been approached to be included in the letter as well. You know what I mean? You're
Through
acting.
the chair, let's go through the chair so we don't start all back and forth.
Can I continue, Mayor?
But
We should have been approached as a council to be included on this letter. If you're acting on behalf of the council and questioning Mr. Severio, you know, by all means, include the rest of us. Maybe we all have concerns that we would like to include in the letter. Maybe we have answers. Maybe I'd like to question why it was a man from Clayton Block that's being continually told that we're after him by eminent domain. And, you know, I mean, the guy had to hire an attorney to come up here at our last meeting. So, I mean, whoever's spreading false rumors to these business owners, it's costing them money. And we don't want to be counterproductive here. We hired Mr. Severio so that we can get redevelopment in North Arlington. And redevelopment is not no development. You know, and right now we're getting no development because everybody's back and forth and accusing everyone of everything. Let's try to get some redevelopment. Let's try to do what's right for North Arlington instead of playing games. This is games. This is games. We should have been included in it, though.
To respond, the letter's not a game. The letter raises legitimate questions. My regret, again, I will say this, Mr. Mayor, my regret is that each and every member of that council was not provided with a copy of that letter. So that is my regret. This letter is not a game. It raises legitimate questions, which, Mr. Severio, I am gratified that you came into this chamber and you answered them. You answered them, and I'm going to take your word. But if we don't ask these questions, we're not doing our job.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something? What would have been the difference if I was to come into a closed session where you asked me these questions, as opposed to a letter, which is open? That's why I think, Councilman Zamator,
Right.
you're a good guy. I find you to be respectful, open, and honest. I can't say that for everyone. I can't say that this letter, that I'm not going to see it on YouTube, like I'm shown on YouTube as to what I speak about. I'm shown how my words are edited to fit a certain approach. I don't think you're part of that. So I don't want you to take it personally because you're a good guy.
You don't have to say that.
I'm telling you, you're a good guy. You is another question.
Coming from you, that's a compliment, Bob.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially with your background.
Yes, I've taken enough of your time.
no, it's all right. This came as a shock to the council. Because that's you. So anyway, I want to thank you tonight for your report. And let's hope that we can get some redevelopment in North Arlington.
Yes.
Because we need the ratables, we need the tax. We need tax money. And this town has been stagnant, like you said, for 20 years. It's got to start moving forward. Kearney has moved forward. They're building all over. Lyndhurst is moving, and we're in the middle and not one house. So we need a man like you with your intelligence to move this town forward in the redevelopment.